What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm back with another set of Yu-Gi-Oh! Video game retrospective. This time, we are taking a look at the Yu-Gi-Oh! Dungeon Dice Monsters in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Dungeon Dice Monsters series. So, many of you know this, of course, because there was a two-part episode in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime for this video game, in which we take um, Yugi and his friends uh, are introduced to Duke Devlin, the creator of Dungeon Dice Monsters, and he owns his own little card shop as well. He owns a little game shop, which apparently is kind of hurting Yugi's grandpa's business. Um, so they go and visit, and it turns out Duke owns it because they meet Duke, who's a new student to their school, and of course, he comes off as like the snobby rich boy sort of thing, like Kaiba, but not really. Like Kaiba owns an actual corporation. You own a video game store, buddy. Well, game store, buddy. A nice one at that. So I don't throw too much shade because I wish I was like in high school owning my own shop for real. Because look, between Kaiba and Duke, man, Yugi's rivals got bank. Like they own corporations. They own, yeah, like Yugi's rivals and antagonists. These guys got bank. Like, oh my god. Like, I need some network so we can know some things because we know Kaiba is loaded. I remember the episode where Kaiba signed off on that check. Anyway, so the long story short is Duke duels Joey, makes a cakewalk of Joey, and puts Joey in the dog suit. Yugi's tired of him humiliating his friend and decides to challenge Duke to a game of Dungeon Dice Monsters. Duke accepts, and they basically go through a two-part episode of it. Duke and Yugi duel it out, and well, Yugi wins. And the concept of the Dungeon Dice Monster series, and I've heard a lot of people say this, is similar to the Capsule Monster series, or the Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monster series, which is also a playoff of of the little things that happened in Season 0, where there was a monster board game that they played, which was inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. A lot of the concepts of these Yu-Gi-Oh! Off-site video games tend to be based off of Dungeons and Dragons, which is awesome. And throughout the whole lineup of things that transpired, I have to honestly say this is still one of my favorite concepts. Yeah, out of all the things that I've played in Yu-Gi-Oh, hell yeah, I fuck with this. This is still one of my favorites out of the concepts of the not Yu-Gi-Oh video games doing not Yu-Gi-Oh video game things. And the concept is still amazing. It's a lot of concept added to it. So I don't mind talking about it because I think it's honestly, well, part of the reason why I'm here is because it's going to be in the early days collection. I have streamed this video game. Unfortunately, I lost my archives to it because at that time I didn't make an archive video, and I wish I did because I definitely would have thrown the archives onto the channel. But yeah, let's like the game itself. It's really cool. It has a plethora of characters, not only from the Yu-Gi-Oh series, so Yugi and his friends, your opponents, the people that Yugi met in Duelist Kingdom, and even some of the characters from Battle City, but a majority of the other characters. With the 9 original characters that were added, there's characters from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0. Yeah, they're added into this game. So a lot of the one-time enemies that Yugi had appear in this game. A lot of Yugi's classmates also appear. Then there's also Yugi's mom appears in this game, which is the only time that she ever appears in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Video game, or hell, a rare occasion when she appears in the series because we rarely see Yugi's mom. I think the times we see Yugi's mom are when Yugi's grandfather gets out the hospital. There's a cut scene from the dub where they don't show her, but there's a conversation between Yugi and his mom before he goes to meet Taya for their date. And then there's she's in season 0. Not a lot, but she is seen. And then that's it. You don't see her anymore after then, or she's rarely mentioned at all. It's just because it focuses on just you getting these damn cards. So the concept of Dungeon Dice Monsters takes the board game perspective to a new level. It's a really cool concept. Like I said, I have seen it myself, and it's I played it myself, and it's a really good concept of things. So there are dice. They range in the color of six. There's white, there's yellow, there's red, there's blue, there's green, and there's black. So the monster classes in the game are divided within five out of the six dice because the black dice is used for the items, while the regular dice, the colored dice that aren't the dice that are white, black, blue, or white, blue, red, green, and yellow are where the monsters are divided through. So for the white dice, you have the spellcasters, you have some of the fiends, have some of the machines, and a few thunder monsters. The blue dice houses the warriors, the sequential knights, archers, and stuff like that. They're all in the blue dice. The green dice is the more convoluted one because while it houses the beast warrior, and winged beast, it also houses a couple of insects, couple of dragon, well, not dragons, couple of fiends, and even a couple of other monsters that are featured between it. The red dice has the dinosaurs, it has the wyverns, it has the dragons, all in its color. And the yellow is secluded to nothing but zombie. It's strange though because there are a lot of monsters that are iconic to the Yu-Gi-Oh series, and while they did use a lot of them to help stretch out the monster pool in this game, you can definitely tell which ones were their favorites and which ones they were kind of just like, yeah, because sadly enough, there aren't enough iconic zombie monsters to have been put in there. But if it was left up to me, I would have put the fiends in with the zombies, to give them some, with the yellow dice to give them some affiliates. But Konami had other ideas because Karibo and them are all class in the spellcasters. It's just alright, sure. Now, the concept of battle, similar to Pokemon, they have their this beats this beats that. So, spellcaster beats. What I think is warrior will beat dragon. Dragon beats spellcaster. Spellcaster beats zombie, and zombie beats beast. Beast beats warrior, and you will get added attack or defense depending on which of the roles you do. Yes, there are defense and attacking, but it's a little different than what the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading Card Game itself has. Because then this is where we get into the concept of the dice. So, the dice itself has different icons on it. The attack, the attack and defense crest, the movement crest, the spell crest, and the trap crest, and then the summon crest. So the summon crest, as it depicts, is where you're able to summon your monsters. The levels, well, monsters and items, because I am forgetting about the black dice, but let me just quickly go into it. The black dice holds items in it. Some items will power up your monsters, some will depower your monsters, others will take advantage of your monster. Others will basically do like, warp a monster to a certain zone, heal a monster for their HP, because they do have hit points. It's weird, but yeah, they have hit points. Then some will also resurrect a monster, and others will delete a monster as well. And then some will even steal crest or add crest. Now let's talk about these crests. So the movement crest allows you to move on the board. During the gameplay itself, you're able to move your monsters, but you need to have movement crest to move them. You need crest to do a lot of things in the game, and luckily in the video game they will hold account for your crest. I don't know how they do it in the physical games. I've never played the physical game. Seen the artwork for it, but never played it. But it does play like the game, but you're limited and you have to keep up with your resources with a video game. Well, video games tend to shine more on that. But then you have your attack and defense crest. Without these, you can't attack or defend, and your monsters will then take damage to their heart points. Their heart points will determine determining how much damage your stuff is done. Then I believe for every 10 points, you're then reduced by your HP, and if your HP is knocked out, then your monster is knocked out. So GG situation there. So you need your attack and you need your defense crest. The spell and trap crests. These crests are used to activate certain abilities. Not saying that all the other abilities will be activated with some of the other crests outside of the summon, because the summon does summon. But yeah, you need the crest to trigger abilities or to set up for things later on in terms of using the abilities of your creatures. Like for instance, Relinquish and Balthazar Restrict are in this game, and they're able to steal your opponent's monsters. But they need the attack and defense crest. I mean, they need spell. I think they need spell crest in order to do such. There are a ton of rare monsters that fit into the category of things as well to supply crest or supply attack and defense buffs. Trust me, there's many of them. And I mean, yeah, while taking these things in the video game, they take a lot of concept from the card game. And it works out pretty well to that factor. Now, in terms of the gameplay, in addition to the crest, so you have a range of this board. You have what's called Monster Lords on each end of the board. Your end, your opponent's end. In the board, you will dimension your dice. That's what the term is for summoning. And you take your 6-sided dice and you move in any combination of a 6-sided dice, attach one to your monster lord, and you proceed to move throughout the board. Once a monster of yours has gotten to your opponent and they take out the heart crest, you win. You win by depleting your opponent's heart crest. Now, in some retrospectives, I have definitely seen combination of boards. Key note, you can walk on your opponent's boards as well. If your opponent has any dimensions and yours and your opponent's happen to link up for whatever reason, you're then able to move on their crest. So you have to move aligned with how the block was dimensioned. Unless there are multiple blocks attached to each other. It's different, but you can still move on those and then deplete your own life. So, in the process of this and keeping this together, they decided to take this more approach to it, which is really cool. And then, talking to the approach and how your victory will win the game, it's just the big concept of things. That's really it. Taking, the Dungeons and Dragons aspect, turning it into dice, and then seeing how it rolls for you guys. Because there are a lot of monsters and lineups in this game. There's a lot of original cards as well in the game, which makes things easier too. And then just the overall concept. Like, it's a really, really fun way. I'm kind of tired. But it's a really fun concept. It's a really big lineup of things. And there is a large portion of the pool that gets used for it. With the array of monsters with array of opponents, array of monsters, and array of combinations. It's a large things there. Sadly, I don't have a large lineup of things, but there are some insights that I'd like to tell you in terms of my experience of it. One thing that I will say is the early days collection is going to give you cheats and stuff. If you play the game vanilla, you're going to be grinding for a lot of your G points, especially because of the early game and trying to get a hand on the concept of what you're able to use and what you're able to not use. There are going to be monsters that you want to buy, and they're going to be in the 400,000s, 300,000s range. And my best figures, continue to participate. excuse me, in these duels. In these duels, in just save your money. I wouldn't advise you to buy anything until you know exactly what you want to build, how you're going to proceed about it. Opponents do drop dice themselves, and depending, because I learned this recently when watching a video, the running setup, um, for the seven, of course, is excuse me. No matter which opponent you have, you'll always be given a random dice, um, randomly. But then you're also going to. Oops, sorry, that was a bowl of mine. You're also able to stack the G's. Now, the G's that are going to be stacked are the G's that you'll get are mainly given to you from your opponents when you win the tournaments. Getting in first place at the tournaments will give you a certain amount of G's. The higher at the tournaments in terms of difficulty, the bigger the payout. The biggest payout that you can get from this is 4,000, and that's from the final tournament, the final judgment, in the dark division. There are 3 divisions to the tournament. There's the regular division. There's the regular division, which all of these divisions have 6 cups. The regular tournaments, the reverse tournaments, and then the dark tournaments. In terms of the concept of each of these, they're basically, the first division is like a lot of common folk. A lot of the characters from the manga, a lot of the characters from Yugi Circle. And then once you get to the nationals, I believe, yeah, the Japanese rep tournament, you'll start to see some of the Duelist Kingdom opponents. So you'll see Rex, you'll see Weevil, you'll see Mako, you'll see Mai, you'll see Bakura. Then when you get to the World Championship is where you'll see more characters there. Um, then when you enter the reverse tournament, this is where you're going to see Duke. You're going to see some of your opponents from not only Duelist Kingdom, but you're going to see some Battle City opponents. Because yes, not Luma's a number. They're in the game though. You'll see Para and Dox. You'll see Bandit Keith. You'll see Bones. They're all in this lineup as well. You'll even start to see Pegasus in this as well. Then Pegasus and them will start showing up more after the reverse tournaments, because then you have the dark tournaments. And this is where the ghouls are seen. So Merrick, Odeon, Ishizu. Well, she's not a ghoul, but Ishizu, you'll see her there. So Kaiba. Actually, no, you start to see Kaiba early as the World Championship in Division 1, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So as Division 2 and onward, you'll start to see Seto Kaiba. And, you'll see all these guys. No, there are no Egyptian gods. They're not in the game, thank God. But you'll start to see a lot of higher class monsters. You'll see a lot of strategies. Another thing to note is that certain boards will have obstacles. Things to hinder your movement and where you and your opponent will dimension die. Some will be more beneficial to you. Some won't be beneficial. You can't touch the the obstacle. You can't go over it and stuff like that. But you have characters in the game that you have monsters in the game who have their unique abilities that you can pay crests for, so you can delete the obstacles. And I think there's even some that create their own obstacles. I can't remember which ones to do that. But once you get through the process of winning these tournaments and stuff, you're able to gain your G, and then you're able to spend your G to buy more dice. You buy that from Yuki's grandpa from his shop that's in the game. And even funny enough, Solomon Moto is in the game. He's actually an opponent in the game as well. Now, there's going to be one character that you're going to see if you go into free duels, where he's not going to appear until you battle him. And that's Yami Yugi. Yami Yugi will appear randomly at the end of the dark tournaments. The last tournament that you complete in the dark lineup will be where he resides. I think he'll also start being an opponent as well. I believe, the last Holy War. is where you'll start to see Yami Yugi appear. And Yami Yugi will randomly challenge you to a game. And then you're able to duel him in the what is it? Oh, in the actual arc. It's a really really cool concept of it. So, in these duels, like I said, the free duels, there's no obstacles. You're basically just on the playing board. But in the tournaments and stuff, they have random obstacles and stuff like rocks, waves that you have to maneuver around in order to get to your opponent or for your opponent to get to you. It's a very cool concept of things. They don't act like field power bonuses or anything, but if you actually do look at the concept of it, well, and more so the artwork and even some of the themes. There are themes. The music in this is great. By the way, I just want to point that out. I love the music in Dungeon Dice Monsters. I actually have some of it on my phone because of means of getting music, and it's really really good concepts of things. It's really really good lineup of music. And if it's, you have a sea theme, you have a mech theme, you have a basic theme, you have a more strategic theme. There's the win music, losing music, um, like even the more conceptual music when you're creating your dice pool is a really good theme as well. And then um, throughout the line of things, even Yugi has a theme. Yeah, the main protagonist of the series has its own theme. Which is a really cool thing. If you haven't, please go look it up on YouTube. There's like multiple extended versions of the themes as well that you can listen to. And it, like I said, the game overall is just a really good experience. And from my experience of it, while it's very, very grindy because of how the concept of the game itself and winning is, because you're not always going to be able to summon, you're not always going to be able to move your dice. Because you have to match to summon a monster, you need to match two of out of the three dice with the correct summon um, crest. And if you don't, unfortunately, you have to roll again. But you do save the crest and stuff. It does just pan out to be extremely long. Is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it at the end because you're still able to conceptually get through the concept of the game and overall win all this G, so you can get a lot more monsters, especially some of the powerful monsters, because they get expensive. Like, if you're a monster that boosts attack and defense of a certain color, well, a certain type, you're very expensive. Like Jellyfish, Mammoth Graveyard, I believe it's Sangan, and Witch's Apprentice for some of them. Because, like, your basic power up monsters, not all of them appear in the game, but those that do appear in the game, like some monsters appear as bonuses. They give attack and defense to other monsters while on board, including themselves, and it really helps out with strategies and concepts and things. It's a lot of strategy, so definitely a lot of strategy to it. And that's why I said I do enjoy playing this game, because this game definitely made me more strategic about how I, conceptually. This is why and I know for a fact Yu-Gi-Oh has a RPG based game, because I think that's what Yu-Gi-Oh the False-Bound Kingdom is. But it's a definite thing for playing this game. And if you have not, you'll get the chance to with the early days collection, unless you emulate it, which most people I know are emulating these days. And it's a really good game to go to the concept of. I experienced this game about a year after it was initially released on the Game Boy Advance. My cousin had it. I do own my physical copy of it myself. I haven't really played it, I think, since I played it on stream via emulator. And even then, I talked about how much fun it is. I of course, built. Yes, Harpie Lady is in the game, and I built a dice pool for Harpie Lady. But it wasn't just Harpie Lady, though. It was like a concept of the beast monsters that were in it. I had a pool variant for like every type that was in it. And while many of them tended to be kind of the same, the overall enjoyment was still the same itself. Where there was rises, there were falls, and trust me, there was a lot of falls because I was very irritated in some cases when I was playing the game. I'm not gonna lie, but in some other cases, it was a really fun concept of playing it overall, and even getting the chance to battle Yugi was a good experience because Yugi definitely kept me on my toes. I'm not gonna lie, all these characters kept me on my toes, and it was still a really cool concept of battling it out with them. And do I recommend this game? Yeah, if you ever get the chance to play it, please do, because I recommend um, a lot of its concept and lineup. It's a really, really fun one, and I definitely think you guys should take it. Even for the fact that it's not a mainstay Yu-Gi-Oh game, it's still a Yu-Gi-Oh game that I definitely want you to take advantage of and to, experience firsthand. So, with that in tow, I'm gonna go ahead and just end my retrospective here for Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna end my retrospective here for the um Yu-Gi-Oh for this Yu-Gi-Oh video game retrospective. I still have a couple more to do, but in terms of all the games that are going to be on the collection, I still have two more to do. That's Destiny Board Traveler, because I did play it, and then Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories 3, which here in America is our Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories 1. I will explain more when I get to those videos. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoy it. If there are any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoy the retrospectives, because I really do enjoy taking the time out to do them myself. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, as it helps me out tremendously. You can hit the notification bell to be informed of when I upload more content to the channel. Social media links are in the description box below. And I will catch you all next time. HBJ signing out. Take care.